Greetings, fellow woodworkers and makers of great things. Welcome back to the shop. Hey, it's been a while since I shot a video, I know. Probably a month or more, but life gets busy. Work, family, travel, it all adds up. But I'm back, and hey, I got a new camera. So give me some feedback if you can on the camera and the mic in this video, and let me know if you notice the improvement, if it was worth my while here. For years, I've been shooting with a tiny little consumer camcorder that you buy at Best Buy for $300 or so 10 years ago. And it was doing okay, I thought. But one of the problems was the microphone jack on it was broken, so I couldn't use an external mic. I got one now, but I couldn't use an external mic because the jack was broken, and I had to use the camera mic, and it was so-so. Actually, it was horrible if you watched it on YouTube, on TV. The audio was unbearable. I found that out recently myself. It always played pretty good on my iPad, pretty good on my phone, pretty good on my laptop. But the audio when I played a YouTube video on the TV was atrocious. So to anybody who had to endure that, I do apologize. But here we are. We're up and we're going. I'm pretty excited about it. Been spending the whole day so far just kind of setting up the camera. So we'll see how it goes. But let's talk about today's video. And it's about my bench tools and organization. And if I let you look behind me here, you can see there's no tools on the wall anymore. This is the first time in forever that there have been no tools on the wall. I had a little mishap. About a year ago, I was restoring an old John Deere lawn tractor. I brought the hood in the garage here to give it a good, buffing and cleaning and polishing. And I had it in the garage. If any of you have ever worked on a John Deere hood for a garden tractor, you know they're about as flimsy as an open egg carton. They're just bling, 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 bling. So here I am with my power buffer, going at it, buffing this thing out. And the thing twists a little bit and shifts, and I nearly fall. So to catch my balance, I throw a hand up, and I've got the buffer at high speed, full of polish, spraying all over the shop. There were splatters everywhere. I've been cleaning it up for about a year on everything. Fortunately, it cleans off pretty easily. So I decided, well, as crazy and difficult as a job it is, I got to pull every tool off the bench, wipe down the cabinet, and wipe down the tool. So here we go. So I thought this might make a good opportunity for me to go through some of my bench tools, show you what I use, maybe give you some ideas. Maybe you guys can give me some ideas about things you see that you use that might help me out. So let's take a little time. We'll go through the tools. We'll go through the tool organization, how I store them, and where and why, and what my crazy logic is on that. And we'll see how that comes out. Okay. So stick with me. Let's go over to the bench. Let's look at some tools, and let's figure out where they belong. Fortunately, the hand tools that are behind the glass doors fared pretty well through all of this. They didn't get too much of I didn't get any splatter on them, just the doors themselves and the plexiglass, of course, took a bath in it. But the tools behind were fine, and that's a lovely thing. It's the open air tools that got the worst damage. I guess we'll start with the bench planes. The smaller ones up behind the glass were fine. These needed a good wipe down and a cleaning. Just for reference, this is my Lee Nielsen number 7.5 low angle smoother. You recently saw a video where I used this to joint some narrow stock. I still have my GoPro mount on it because I might use that again. This is a Stanley Bailey number 6. I rarely use it. I used to use it like a jointer until I got this one. Right now it fits in the kind of middle of nowhere man's land, and I don't use it much. This is my number 5 jack plane, and I've got this thing ground to a significant camber, I think you can see here. So I really use it for rough stock removal. It's not a finished plane anymore. I use it for rough stock removal, and then I'll get down and I'll joint everything flat with the jointer, and then hit it with a smoother. All right, so let's get these guys put back away. And here's where those planes belong. Next up are my bench saws, and I've got a couple of dovetail saws. Technically, this would be a dovetail saw because it's a rip saw. They're all back saws, bench saws. This one's 15 points per inch rip. This is the same saw in a crosscut version. These bench saws would be considered tenon saws and carcass saws. They're really very general purpose saw. You're going to cut tenons with the rip configuration. You're going to do more carcass work with a crosscut configuration. But they're all just nice bench-sized saws that I do an awful lot of work with. I'm sure you've seen me use them several times in the shop. They're all made by Lee Nielsen. And when I bought these two, I bought the cases for them. I like that. After I bought the dovetail saws, Lee Nielsen discontinued. This is called a gent saw. It has a long tapered handle, and I like that because of the way it fits my hand and the way I can keep a nice, relaxed, and controlled grip on it. Most people aren't crazy about gent saws, obviously, because they couldn't sell enough of them, and they discontinued the saws, and I couldn't get the cases for them. So I went to a local leather shop, and a gentleman there was nice enough to make me some leather cases, and I even got them monogrammed or personalized, I should say, with my name on them. There's some people who disagree with the use of leather for saw cases because they say it can tarnish the steel. I disagree with that very, very strongly. When I put my saws away, I weight them in oil, and over time of doing that, the oil impregnates the leather on the inside, and the saw is fine. I mean, I haven't used this saw I used one of these saws recently. I don't know which one, but these saws may be in these cases for a couple of months, and you can see they stay really, really nice in the case. So let's get these people up on their respective perches. And that's where these saws go. Here we have some rolls of carving tools, and these are just various type of gouges and other carving tools that wind up being used not just for carving. I use these a lot for veneers. If you're doing inlay and you want to put a particular sweep on a veneer, it's nice to punch it with this type of a tool, because then you can additionally punch the inlay with the same tool. So I'll try to get a picture up there to show you what I mean. But if you let's see if I got a leg here, and I do. If you're trying to make an inlay like so, all right, and you want to get these sweeps just right, what you're doing is you're cutting them with something like this to make the inlays, and then once you make the inlay and get it right, you then use the same tool to push the exact same sweep into the wood, so that when you excavate for the inlay, you've got a nice tight fit there. So that's mostly what I use my carving tools for. I don't do a lot of carving, to be honest with you. So that's carving tools, and let's get them back where they belong. Carving tools go right here. So over in that corner by the carving tools, I keep a couple of pretty unrelated items. One is this set of Lee Valley numbering dies, or numbering punches. What do they call them? Number punch, letter punch set. So what these are, they're a pain in the butt to open. What these are a set of numbers and letters. Hope you can see that. Punches. So if you need to permanently mark something, you can take these punches and, with a mallet, just create an indentation. I use them a lot when I'm doing complex mortise and tenon work, where you got a lot of, apron to leg, stretcher to leg type of mortise and tenons, and you might be doing a glue up with 8 or 10 different mortise and tenons, and you sure don't want to glue the wrong thing to the wrong thing. I'll number these 1 and 1, or A and A and B and B, or something like that, so that as they go together, I make sure I get them all aligned. It's very stressful, as you probably know, gluing things up, and so you want to give yourself the best chance to win at that. So those go over by the carving tools, and I also have just a silly set of these are clamp pads. So when you're doing a clamp up, a glue up, you're often looking for pads to protect the work from the ends of the clamps, and it's good to just have a bunch of them pre-cut and handy and sitting around. So those are clamp pads, and I'll get them where they belong. Clamp pads and number and letter punches go right here. Next up, we have a section of the wall where I keep my spoke shaves, my beading tool, and my cabinet scraper. The spoke shaves are handy tools for, fairing curves when you're doing something that has a curve, and working with the grain in different directions. There are different profiles. There's a rounded bottom. There's a flat bottom. There's a curved bottom for doing, rungs and spokes and things like that. Spoke shaves, I don't use them a ton, but I use them enough, and they're indispensable tools. This is a nice set by Lee Valley Veritas. I like them a lot. This is a Lee Nielsen beading tool, and honestly, unless you're into period furniture or reproducing period furniture, you're not going to get much use out of it. And basically what you do is you use it to scratch a bead or a profile into a piece of wood. It's an old school technique. And again, you're going to use it for period work. Most of the more modern stuff I do, and even some of the period stuff, you can get away with a router. It comes with different profiles, so you can change the type of the bead, or even the flute that you can put. You can put a flute into stock. Flute is an indent or inbound curve, and a bead or a reed is coming out. I also have a lot of blank stock that I bought when I got the tool, because sometimes in reproduction work, or period work, you have to create a profile that you don't, that you can't otherwise have. There's no router bit. There's, you actually would duplicate the profile on the original piece or the piece you're reproducing using files. You can create that shape and then scratch it in. And over here is a cabinet scraper. A cabinet scraper is nothing more than a scraper blade mounted to a flat surface. So it gives it a reference when you're scraping. And scraping is used kind of like planing, but for very fine removal of material, or in highly figured grain where you're going to get a lot of tear out. You can use a cabinet scraper. You've probably seen me use the handheld version. Well, that gets rough if you're doing a lot of it, because it gets hot for one thing and you're constantly bending and holding. So this is a nice tool just to, fair up a surface that needs a little touch of scraping. So these are my tools that will go together. The spoke shaves, the beading tool, and the cabinet scraper will all go together in one section of the wall. Oh, and while we're scraping and shaving, this is my case for my cabinet scrapers. So you see me use card scrapers, pardon me. That's a cabinet scraper. These are card scrapers. You see me use these before. You flex them, and you can smooth off wood. I've got, 4 or 5 of them in here of different ilks that I've accumulated over the years. And they get stored with these tools all in the same area. And all that goes right here. I like to keep a good assortment of hammers by the bench, and so I've got them out here. We've got a couple of rubber mallets that come in handy for persuading things that need persuading. This one's an East Wing. This one's a Vaughan. This is your, ubiquitous East Wing Carpenter's claw hammer. They're all over the place. It's just a great hammer, though. Little tiny hammer for persuading things that are small, or for tapping wooden planes, which I have one, but I don't use. I don't like wooden planes. And then we've got 3 Warrington hammers. Why we have 3 Warrington hammers, I don't know. This one's pretty light. This one's pretty heavy. And this one comes in the middle. So do I know? If you don't know, the benefit of a Warrington hammer, in addition to have a regular hammer head, has a narrow-sided head. So if you've got to get a brad started between your fingers or get into a tight space, you can use the flathead to get things going. So those are my hammers. This one is a Stanley. These 2, I have no idea who makes them. They're unmarked. I've had them way too long to even remember where I got them. Probably at some kind of flea market or woodworking show or someplace like that back in the day. And of course, a mallet. This is a Blue Spruce mallet. Blue Spruce is one of my favorite tool companies. It's now, I believe, owned by Rockler. When I bought this, it was the old Dave Jeske Blue Spruce, where he was making a lot of this stuff over in Oregon. And I've got all of his chisels. It's anything Blue Spruce is just tip-top quality stuff. And here's where I put hammers and my mallet. Here are my layout, measuring, and marking tools. And I won't go into much detail on these because I've got a video out on these that I'll link in the end of the video here. But I will point out a couple. Got some metric rules. This is a Mitutoyo. I got all my new ones are Mitutoyo, not Starrett. And this one are metric. All right. So usually for mechanical stuff, I'm coming across a lot more metric stuff. If I'm laying out or designing something myself, I don't use metric. I still use standard inches. But sometimes you can't help it. Like, you need to know the length of a bolt or something like that. You go with that. This is an interesting rule that I recently acquired. Another Mitutoyo, and it is calibrated in tenths of an inch. So I don't know if you can see them, but these graduations between the inches are not sixteenths, eighths, quarters, etc. These calibrations are 1 through 10 with hundreds and thousands hash marked in there too. Well, what would you ever use that for? Scaling. So if you want to take something down to quarter scale, for example, and you want to draw a 7-inch line at quarter scale, you divide 7 by 4 and you get some decimal place that you got to deal with. Historically, I would, hang on, it's stuck to the wall here because I always would use it. I don't think I'll be using it much anymore. Bear with me, kids, I'm here. So what I would do back in the day was I would take this conversion chart that would take a decimal to a fraction of an inch or a fraction of an inch to a decimal. I'd look it up and I'd start doing my drafting and marking out my lines. But with the new rule, if it comes to 3.2 inches, I don't have to find the fraction. I can just find 3.2 right on this scale and put it out. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing. But yeah, again, I'll link to the details into my layout, measuring, and marking tools, as well as a bunch that aren't on this wall on a regular basis, and share that with you. And all my layout, measuring, marking tools go here. In this pile, I got screwdrivers and screwdriver-like things. I say that because they kind of hang and store in the same set of holes. I've got a set of Phillips head screwdrivers. I've got a set of flat screwdrivers. And I like this set, and I bought it a long time ago Why? Because it has wooden handles, and I like wooden things in my shop. They're made by a company called Schroeder in Germany, and had them a long time. I don't know how long or where I got them, but if they're still around, you can probably find them under Schroeder, and that was SHRODER. Regular size screwdrivers are good. Sometimes you need stubbies, I got them. Sometimes you need smalls, I got them. And sometimes you got to throw a Torx bit or something else into a screwdriver. And so I've got this beautiful Wera ratcheting screwdriver with a 1/4-inch head that will fit anything. These things ratchet, they're beautiful, and they open up, and you've got all your bits in there. A couple of Torx, a couple of Phillips, a couple of flat. No square drive. I got plenty of them. And then I said, screwdriver-like things. I keep 2 brushes at the bench. This is a brush that I primarily use for, hide glue or anything else I want to wipe onto something. This one I use, it's an artist brush, but I use it strictly for dusting. I've got several awls. I've got 1, 2, 3 awls. And why? I don't know. I need 2, but I got 3. This is a very fine tip. This is a pretty coarse tip. That's in the middle. I don't need 3. I just have 3. And then I picked up this thing, which is pretty cool. This is an awl on one end, and it's got a like a chisel edge on the other end for where you can mark something or create a flat line with it. So I like this too. And that's those things all store in holes, so I keep them all together. And here's where those things go. This is a collection or an assortment of things that I keep in cubby holes over here, all in the same general area. Obviously, marking Sharpies and stuff like that. Cutting or marking knives, I should say, for marking lines, marking out. I got 3 different varieties that I'll flip in between. This is my replacement for an X-Acto. It's a surgical scalpel. Surgical scalpels are readily available. You can also buy blades, which are replaceable. I don't want to cut my finger reaching in like this, but these blades are replaceable and relatively inexpensive. You can even find them on Amazon. Much superior to an X-Acto knife, much sharper, much stronger, much more accurate. Fiskar is the go-to scissors, by the way, guys. I love Fiskar scissors. This is a pretty cool antique Craftsman flimsy plastic knife that I found in my father-in-law's, one of my father-in-law's tool bags after he passed away. And it's really just an old Craftsman knife. It's probably a giveaway or meant to sell cheap. It's very flimsy. I wouldn't use it because it would break. Hasn't been used much because it would be broke. It's actually got a pretty good factory edge on it still. But it's just something, sentimental, worth keeping, because it was my father-in-law's. Unfortunately, he went early. He's gone almost 40 years already. And then I've got my my knives. I've got a Boker here. This is an inexpensive Boker knife that I keep as a utility knife. This is a very good Boker knife that is a gift from a dear friend, and I keep that with me, and I cherish this one. And Vic, if you're watching this, I think about you whenever I come near that knife. And a couple of razor knives I've got. This is the best one. Again, I love Fiskar. This is, to me, far superior to the Milwaukee I had been using. They're similar knives. Fiskar also has some really nice blades. That's your Milwaukee knife. Bench dogs go in that area. I got different varieties of bench dogs. I keep a piece of glass and a piece of leather in a cubby hole over there, and I have for a very long time. This is for like mixing epoxy, laying out a puddle of glue if I'm going to put it on with a toothpick or something, or you need to be detail oriented. And I just got a piece of leather for gripping stuff or cushioning stuff, and I seem to grab for it. This is a mini veneer hammer. If I have to lay down a veneer that's very small, like inlays or something, I can hammer it down with this. Just a piece of brass cut square, rounded over on the edges. This is a small bench dog. I don't know if, I can get a bench hole right here. And you would just lay that down, and you would have something to hold a small stock up against without hitting the stop. Some wax for waxing things. Some old hotel key cards. This, I don't know if you can tell, it has teeth filed in, spreading glue, smoothing glue, scraping soft glue that's pre-dried. I just keep them around for that purpose. I've got a bunch of tweezers over here that I've accumulated over the years. These kind of cosmetic-y looking ones are for getting splinters out of my fingers. I keep 3 pliers at the bench. This is a Knipex needle nose, a Knipex standard plier, and a Milwaukee diagonal cutter. I got a bunch of these all over the place, but I like to have them right here because these are the 3 most common pliers that I'll grab for. I keep all this stuff at arm's reach at all times, and that stuff gets put away right here. There are shop supplies that I keep around the bench and at arm's reach. So we got glues like regular type-on wood glue. I keep a small box of old brown glue. This is hide glue. I only keep a small bottle around because it doesn't last forever. If I got a project, I'll get a big bottle, or I'll cook my own a lot of the times, especially if I'm veneering. I've got some 2-part epoxy. I like this System 3 stuff. It's pretty good. I've tried a bunch. I've got some glue for AZEK, which is that vinyl kind of wood stuff that I use on exterior trim and stuff. I keep some fluids like denatured alcohol around. I keep mineral spirits handy. I keep water handy in a bottle. I keep water handy in a spray bottle. This is canola oil for lubricating and conditioning your tools and preserving them. This is Timbermate. Timbermate is, I believe it's Australian. Why do I think that? Well, it's Upland, California, but it's made in Australia, imported through California. Timbermate is really good wood filler. Of course, I don't use much because I don't make too many mistakes. But no, it's really, really good wood filler. And this is like the best stuff in the world. It's called Slip It Sliding Compound. If you're reconditioning your table saw, your drill press, your jointer, and you want a nice protected, smooth finish, this is so much better than any wax I found. It's designed specifically for the purpose. Not sure where it comes from. What do I think this might? No, this is made in the USA by Slip It Industries, baby. Look at that, Highland, New York. Not far from me. It's probably about 70 miles from me. Just try it. I'm not kidding. Try it. And then these, I keep these over there with the bottles and stuff because these are called red caps, and they are, well, they're like little bottle condoms, And if you lose the cap to one of your bottles, you take one of these, and you've got a replacement cap, and they'll go down further. But the other thing they're really, really good for is caulking tubes. Right? I don't know that I'll promise they'll work 100% because nothing seems to on caulk, but they do a really good job of going down over the caulking tube a good 2 inches at least and sliding down and making a nice airtight fit. So these are really cool things to have. They're called red caps, and I just love them. And again, for caulking and for glue bottles, water bottles, any type of bottle that has one of these red caps that you tend to lose and that tend to not fit too well. I notice my denatured alcohol is almost gone. It's probably evaporating because it evaporates easily, and this is probably not as airtight as it should be. But yeah, all this stuff goes on the side of my bench over here as an arm's reach resource. And let me show you where that goes on the bench. Last but not least is this set of drawers that I keep around. When I designed this wall thing, I had some space. I said, how can I make sure I utilize it well? So I crafted up some drawers. A few things I keep in those drawers. This is a scratch stock. So this is similar to that beading tool, but you make your own